Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions 500, the continued party. Today we have an array of guests, starting with Paul Harvey, Yev Merisenko, and Howard Tice. So we've got Doctor and the Professor. We've got another Doctor coming up a bit later, and a few more Professors, I'm sure, as well. How are we doing, guys?
Yeah, good.
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent. Right, Paul, starting with you. Do you want to give the audience a little bit of background on yourself, and then we'll move over to Yev?
Yeah, pretty much. I help run Seller Chatbot, and right now we're doing a ranking service, and that's incredibly well because we're doing and seeing a whole bunch of ranking strategies and what works for us. And yeah, that's 2 cents.
Cool. And over to you, Yev.
Yeah, I started Zon Tracker to track Amazon purchases coming from Facebook ads, and then got into a geo rank as well, measuring a regional rank across Amazon, and that's pretty much it. I have some cool stuff coming up, but I'll mention that in a second relative to what's going on and where Amazon is heading.
Excellent. And finally to you, Howard.
So we run Signalytics, which is a SaaS program that's mainly AI-based services.
Yes.
That we for keyword for getting keywords to getting product selection to ranking, all based on AI.
Excellent. Who's with the background noise there? Sorry, is it you, Paul?
Yep.
Might be you. Just so we can mute the mics in and out because obviously the audience listening. So let me just mute a mic and check. Yeah, I think it's the background noise on Howard. So I'll unmute you.
My son came in.
Oh, you'd son as well. All right, I will unmute you again in a moment, Howard. Okay, so first things first, the original question. So I've done this over yesterday's. Each group that rolls in will get asked an individual question to go around the room. So what is the future of ranking on Amazon, and what will you do to help progress it forward? So let's start with you, Yev.
All right. Well, where Amazon is going and where I think where we're all going is, one, Amazon is getting smarter, and two, Amazon sellers are getting smarter. So what that is doing is that there's always this advantage gap. What's happening is that we're using certain strategies, certain tactics. Amazon is getting smarter. That gap is getting smaller when Amazon figures something out. Sellers figure something out, and then that gap gets bigger, meaning that advantage gap. We have more time to do something. So over time, where it's going is that, one, Amazon is getting bigger. So everything is getting more segmented because they have to be organizationally more efficient. But at the same time, everything is getting more connected through data. So it's kind of like this dichotomy of things separated and more connected. So these ranking gaps are going to be getting smaller and smaller and smaller over time because Amazon is going to be getting so much smarter, and we're going to be trying to combat that, thinking of new things to do. So that's where Amazon is going, which means that I'm kind of heading into two different directions of how we can try to overcome that. One is like forgetting the tactics. I love tactics. That's going to be my next thing because I'm a growth hacker. That's what I focus on. But the other part is, how can sellers not even worry about this gap of always trying to stay ahead of the curve and trying to use some tactic and strategy to rank, where that's always going to be happening, but it's going to be getting shorter and harder to do that. So we're going to have to be looking for new gaps. So the way to do that is where I've been getting a lot more, and that's in areas of partnering with businesses, acquiring businesses, investing in businesses at a level where you can 10x overnight, and that's by acquiring new audiences or partnering with brands or audiences or other assets where the resources exist, but you partner in a way that's a win-win. So for me, it's normally been harder to help beginner sellers because through my software, it's more for advanced sellers. So with these ways where you can partner with another seller or another audience where right away you double your audience or it's much higher. So there's those directions where I'm going, trying to acquire many different audiences and then be able to let software users that, or let the Amazon community somehow have access to this audience. So that's one way where you can go, where don't even worry about that gap.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to go very quickly on this next one, where the other direction is, like, you can extend those gaps and you can find other opportunities for gaps. So for me, this is where tracking Amazon purchases from Google Ads. We're about to release something relevant for that. So it's just like always coming up with new things and trying to expand that way. So trying to make that gap longer.
Okay. Is there anything you want to add on top of that? We'll come back round to you. But have you concluded that part of the question? Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. So Howard, I'm going to unmute you. Do you want to answer the same question as well as Yev there? What has been the biggest sorry, wrong question. Let me just pull out. There's so many of these questions to do across the 5 groups today. So let me just pull it up again. What is the future of ranking on Amazon, and what will you do to help progress it forward?
So what I see the future of ranking on Amazon is it's gonna like our what we call it signals, right?
Yeah.
So Amazon is looking at different signals now. So they're not just looking at just, Facebook rebates and, like the search find buy style. They're looking for where traffic is coming from. So they're going to look at from like maybe Facebook ads. They're going to look at Google ads. They're going to look at traffic signals. They're going to look at social signals. They're going to look at where the purchase signals are. We're going to look at PPC signals and PR signals and DSP signals. All these signals are all out there that Amazon's looking at, and they're actually an AI, right? They're a predictive model. They do a predictive model. So what we do is also we're a predictive model. We have all these sources of traffic sources or signals that we throw into with Amazon. So with Amazon changes, we change too, because that's how our AI works.
Excellent. Anything to expand upon on that? Where do you see that all joining? Like Yev was just there talking about joining those dots and filling those gaps. How do you see the gaps being filled yourself?
I think on Amazon right now, the gaps are like they're learning. Amazon itself is learning how other people are actually doing the ranking and stuff. So right now, since everyone's doing search, find, buy, rebates, mini chat, it's getting less and less important because everyone's doing it, right? When everyone's doing it, it does not as effective as it was before, because Amazon, like I just said, they're using artificial intelligence to do the ranking. So that for that they're looking at signals, other signals. They could even could adopt combining signals together in order for them to rank for their style of ranking.
Yeah, that makes sense. Paul, I'll bring you in here. Pop your volume back on.
Yeah, so pretty much with me is that agreed with everyone here is that the window is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I mean, with me, I've been doing the same launches for years now, and I can actually compare now the results now from where I was in the past. And in the past, we all did it. We abused the big, massive discounts, and it worked. And how long did it take for Amazon to catch on? I think it took too long. And right now, even with the whole rebate, search, find, buy, that strategy, it works, but it's not as effective now as what it was when it first started out. So again, the window is getting shorter, and now it's kind of like a multi-prong approach, where it's not just one strategy; it's many types rolled into one. Kind of looking like making sure that Amazon thinks this customer that you send to them is an organic purchase and mimicking their behavior.
That makes sense. Another question for you then. So what's the one piece of advice you would give to an advanced Amazon seller when it comes to ranking over the next 2 years?
So pretty much I would say with them is, if they want to rank, how are they ranking? Now, a lot of them will say they do search, find, buy. Great. I mean, they say they do, but how are they doing it? Are they doing it through a super URL? Are they telling their customers? And if they're using ManyChat, what platform are they doing it? That's the main thing. Getting customers to perform a proper, authentic search, find, buy is great. But in our results, we found that we give the customers the exact results, and we split test as or the super URLs, everything. And the best results was when they followed the instructions to a T. Go to Amazon, type in these keywords. Great. But even that being said, only 70% of the people actually followed the instructions to a T, meaning that 30% do whatever they want to. Maybe they just they look at the image of the photo in the conversation and then do a search there. So again, all these things, we want to be perfect, but we have to take into account the bias of Amazon customers and how they can just do everything and go off a tangent. And we have to be aware of that. So trying to do one thing is too much of one thing. Yeah, we have to spread even.
Yeah. Same question to you as well, Howard.
So what would, if a high-level seller comes up to me and asks me what is the new changes?
What would be your one piece of advice you'd give to an advanced level seller with regards to ranking on the basis of the next 2 years?
So at least for now and the next 2 years, I could see that Amazon's rolling out a lot of different kind of advertising tools that they have. So advertising itself through sponsored ads and DSP is the number one thing that everyone, at least the big sellers, should focus a lot more on, because that's where they on search or on ASIN page or display page, it's all over the place. You know, the amount of paid per play is so much now on Amazon, not like before where you're on the third spot of organic, you're going to actually get a lot of sales. Right now, if you're on the third spot of organic, might not even get any sales, because you have other editorials, you have all the other sponsored products and other pay-per-play kind of thing that is out there. So you need to know how to really be really good with advertising side.
Yeah. That makes sense. Same question to you, Yev, as well.
Yeah. So what I typically see, there's two types of advanced sellers that I come across, and this is just from my software perspective. And one is a category of trying to rank really hard in so many different ways on Amazon. And then the other category is unintentionally ranking. And these are Amazon sellers that are just driving traffic to their website, and they're getting spillover sales and traffic going to Amazon. So they're ranking on Amazon, but that's not their goal. Their goal is their website. So there's two different types of advanced sellers, and it's different tips depending on which one you are. One is, how do you bridge the gap between those types of Amazon sellers? Because essentially it's different strategies. So try to do that where you're diversifying off Amazon and on Amazon, and you're linking those strategies together, because all of that data is linked. For some brands, it's 10% spillover sales. For some, it's 25%. So you have to try to understand that better. And then I want to bridge a little bit between what Paul and Howard were saying, where where part of the answer is where you want to diversify and try to maximize those different strategies. The way you do that is massive testing and actually having a testing strategy. How are you testing? Where you have 50 factors that you're testing, and then you know that each week you're cutting off 90%, have metrics. So the way you accomplish that is an actual testing strategy, and you're reviewing not the results but the actual testing strategy.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Is there anything else you guys want to add? What's going to be the most meaningful thing, for instance, will you do this year?
Yeah, for me, it's always thinking how to think bigger at each strategy, and that's why earlier I mentioned where partnering with audiences and brands, even multi-brand partnerships, that's how literally overnight you double your revenue, because you partner with someone that has that. So really getting into that type of traffic arbitrage, or partnering with brands and investors, finding ways of that, and then always innovating with the features. So like getting more into Google, and always like newer features with Facebook ads. So I think it's just always look for their opportunities. There's something that you don't know. So create some space where you look at something that you don't know and learn.
Yeah. Same question to you, Howard. What do you feel is going to be the most it can be personal development, or it can be business, it could be anything, but what will you think will be the most meaningful thing that you'll do for the remainder of this year?
So currently we're really focusing on as the business side, innovating outside traffic, how to bring more and more unique outside traffic into Amazon, as well as external platforms that we're working on with bringing them, like TikTok, like Instagram and things like that, to bring in a more of a scalable for our clients.
Makes sense. Paul, you're muted at the moment, but what is the most meaningful thing your daughter, has she got an opinion on the subject as she's sitting on your lap? What's the most meaningful thing she'll be doing this year?
Oh, I should soon start beatboxing on the microphone, which I'm trying to save you guys the embarrassment. But
Okay.
for us, the one thing we're working on is that the biggest fear for people doing rebates, especially doing mass rebates, is the big footprint left by doing rebates. And yes, people will say there's no footprint. There's absolutely a footprint. Amazon's aware of it. So what we're working on now is a new strategy that actually mitigates that footprint, completely taking out and the seller out of the equation, where it makes life just a whole lot easier. That's the first thing for us to make kind of remove the footprints. The second thing is we're gonna make a big move towards actually helping sellers make a smoother transition in chatbots from Amazon to Shopify and other platforms.
Yeah. Cool. Right. I'm going to start bringing the next groups in, but I'd like to say individual goodbyes to everyone. So I'm going to start with you, Yev. I want to say thanks for everything you do for the community. I love the way that regardless what anyone thinks, you just get on with it. The whole geo ranking thing, you put your neck on the block to do that. A lot of people are in support of that. Early doors, not everyone was behind it, but you know what they say is like first they'll laugh at you, then they'll copy you, etc. And I also like the fact we had a private conversation. We'll go into details, but you gave up money for legacy. You made the decision to stick at what you're doing instead of taking money off the table and going elsewhere. And for that, I admire you a lot. And I look forward to seeing you in person in October. So I'm going to say goodbye to you for now. Take care.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Danny.
No worries. Howard, we've met a few times. I remember our first meeting was about 2017, 18. I was over in China with Michael Michelini, and you hunted me down on LinkedIn. And there was a group of us. There was me, Brian Johnson, and again, also there was Anthony Lee there. So we got to meet and break bread and hang out and stuff with some of your crew. And then we've met up again in China, and then we really got to know each other pretty well, I think, in back in March when we were over in Prague, and it was 4 o'clock in the morning, but we were both sober because you'd drunk yourself sober and I'd gone for a sleep and come back down, but we were exchanging stories and stuff. So yeah, it was great to meet you, and thank you for coming on, and I wish you and Anthony the best in the future with your new venture.
I'm also congratulate on your 500 actually.
Thank you, mate. All right, I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Paul, we met, what is it, 3 or 4 years ago now. And if you don't mind me saying, you were in a difficult kind of place. You've been doing well with Amazon. You got disillusioned with it. You hadn't been treated well by certain places. We won't go into details. And I said, listen, come and join in the group, get stuck in, you know, surround yourself with the right people, get that vibe back, and you've gone from strength to strength. So it's funny how we can go back those 3 years ago and now where you are now, and as you've grown as a business, a person, and everything you're doing. I'm very proud of what you do. So thank you for coming on, and I look forward to having you on again soon.
Absolutely. And Danny, thank you for the kind of being like the voice of reason, the conscience on the Amazon community. Much appreciated. Thank you for your work.
All right, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, welcome to the stream now. We have Destiny with Sean, and we have Brent as well. We have Ellis Whitehead, Dr. Ellis, and let me bring in Lazar. How are we doing, guys?
Amazing.
Everyone good? Excellent.
Yep, doing great.
Cool. So just go around the room, quick introduction. I think we're waiting for, who are we waiting for? We're waiting for the brain, aren't we? The brain will be here, Brian Johnson. So we have to give him a nudge. He'll join us in a moment. Okay, starting with you, Destiny. Do you want to give a little bit of background on yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Destiny Washon. I have been managing Amazon advertising for 4 years now, and I am co-founder of Better AMS, which focuses primarily on scaling on-platform Amazon advertising initiatives for 7 to 8 figure brands.
Excellent. Brent?
Yeah, been running AMZ Pathfinder for 5 years now, almost exactly, and been working with Amazon advertising the whole time in North America and Europe. And yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Lazar?
Hey, congrats on 500 first. So my name is Lazar, and I'm the owner of Sellers Alley. Sellers Alley is Amazon PPC agency, working for a year and a half now, and I'm in PPC. I can say now 10 years, because like for a year and a half, I was talking like I'm in PPC for 9 years. So it's a decade.
Yeah, it's a decade. Ellis?
Yeah, hi. I've been into PPC now for, I guess it was 2015 that my wife got started her Amazon business, and I started applying some of my research to her PPC and some other things. And then, it was great to meet Danny, and we really hit it off. And we started Databril, our PPC agency.
Excellent. So, Destiny, starting with you first, the main question for you guys as we go around the room is, what has been the biggest Amazon PPC breakthrough, past and present, and how did that impact you as a person and as a company?
Yeah, for sure. So I got a little philosophical with mine, and it is that Amazon advertising will not make a product or a brand great. I think that's a slight misconception. That's a shiny object and it's going to take you from 0 to 100 real fast. In reality, we're just a small cog in the wheel. You have to have an amazing product, and Amazon advertising will help get it in front of the right people.
Yeah, that makes sense. Same question to you, Brent, and quickly, hello to the brain. Thank you, Brian, for joining us. Welcome to the show. Here. Brent, so the same question to you.
Yeah, sure. Mine's kind of philosophical.
Whoa, hold on. Brent, you got really, really bad feedback. Do you want to just come out the feed and then change your mic setting and then come back in? You sound like a Dalek at the moment. And what I'll do is I'll bring in Brian. I'll take you out for a moment, bring in Brian for the same question. So, Brian, the main question I'm asking everyone today from the PPC group is, what has been the biggest Amazon PPC breakthrough, past and present, and how did that impact you?
Certainly the ability to, we use it quite a bit, and that is just the additional ad types that allows us to do, to steal more market share. Yep. From competitors. I think that was probably the biggest change that we implement heavily, and I pretty much have on every single coaching or consulting call. That's the topic of discussion for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Brent, can we see if your mic works now?
Testing.
That's a bit better. It's a little bit of feedback, but let's see if we can get your answer out. Yeah.
Okay, I got my nice mic hooked up here. I don't know what the deal is, but
yeah, I think maybe if you come out of Stream, because it's really bad still, come out of StreamYard completely, and then change your mic settings, and then come back in and see if that works. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Going over to you, Lazar. Same question to you.
Yeah, it's super hard question. I was thinking for a day, like, what was the biggest thing that happened that changed my work? And I think bulk files. Bulk files changed so much for me because we have a really big team now, and it speeded up everything. And like, there are many awesome tools on the market. You can do a whole bunch of different stuff there, but like, bulk files are giving you creativity to do whatever you wish.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ellis, you got a bit of a shopping list, haven't you, I think?
Oh, well, in terms of what's been in the past, the most important things, I would list 3 things for us in the last year or two, and those are the brand analytics reports, the product targeting, and top of search targeting are the 3 things that have been the most powerful for us. So the brand analytics, it gives us like a roadmap for all the keywords except for the really low volume, long tail keywords. And so referencing the brand analytics report, we can stop wasting our time on useless search terms and really focus in on what's going to work best. And the product targeting, it gives us the ability to target like specific listings. And while it doesn't work great in all niches, in some, it's really powerful. Yeah. And as kind of like the other side to the brand analytics, so brand analytics and the product targeting. And then in addition, the top of search targeting, it's turned out to be our most effective way, one of our most effective ways to improve search term ranking for our clients.
Makes sense. Brent, third time lucky. Let's see if we can get your one going.
All right, do I still sound like I'm from Doctor Who?
Perfect. This is perfect.
You know what? It's the big cans. Lazar, you got the right idea. Yeah, got to get the cans on. Yeah, sure. So for me, it would be DSP. Since the end of last year, going into this year, DSP has been the thing that has changed the game for me and for the agency in general, because we've always played in the walled garden of Amazon, where the ads go from Amazon to Amazon, where you don't really have a reach off platform with advertising except for some limited capabilities of sponsored display. And so we're finally able to address shoppers somewhere in the consideration and awareness part of the funnel rather than just kind of the bottom part that we're more used to. So I felt like, Amazon's a great place to play in as an advertising expert because there's a lot of variables that are removed that you might deal with on other platforms. But in a way, that's also kind of limiting. Obviously, the tool set is getting better and better. What Els just mentioned, I heard the tail end of that at least. That stuff like brand analytics is massively useful, but it's still a walled garden. So now DSP allows us to play outside of that walled garden a little bit, and I think it's still kind of early days for that, at least for us. I know there's big agencies out there that have been doing it for years, but really, we're in the first half a year, a little bit more than half a year with it. And it feels really good to get out of the sandbox a little bit. And I think that's like the next chapter of us as a company is leveraging DSP with companies that maybe aren't even on Amazon at all, but want to have access to the Amazon traffic and their unique data, which is tremendous. It's huge. So that's my take on what the biggest thing is.
Fantastic. Going to bring you back in, Destiny. What do you think is going to be the most meaningful thing that you will do this year? That could be on the personal development side, or it can be business.
Definitely growing our team. As everyone's mentioned, there's been like 90 different rollouts lately. DSP is a project in its own. Now that we have better sponsored display reporting, like 4 different targeting types, it's almost impossible for one person to really be a true thought leader in both, the front end aspects of that and strategic, as well as the back end and utilizing it with bulk and at scale. So growing our team to have, special people that can really own the different aspects of it is going to be huge. And it's really going to help us scale for our brands.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, I'm still messaging the groups as they're rolling in behind, so I am paying attention. Same question to you, Ellis. On a personal development side or business, what do you think is going to be the most meaningful thing for you this year?
Well, I'll stick with business, and actually, I have to say practically the same thing as Destiny did. So one of the things that we, in some sense, struggle with at Databril is all the client, the GDPR. We have to make sure all our client data is private. And so this limits, to an extent, it limits our options a lot on what we can do with regard to scaling in software development. And so that's probably the biggest, one of the big growth places for us as we move on through 2020 is getting all our GDPR stuff in place so that we can scale the software with and stick within all the requirements for customer privacy.
Indeed. Same question to you, Brent.
Well, I really like living in France, but I would like to leave the country at least once this year on a flight to another place in Europe or somewhere else in the world. So travel, that's one for this year. I think that's probably on everybody's list. Maybe we're enjoying the little break here from the constant conference schedule, and I really hope to get to the UK later this year, Danny, for your event. Still very much looking forward to that on the calendar, highlighted, circled.
October 3rd.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
It's
going to happen.
We're
going to be very positive mental thinking. That's it.
Positive mental thinking. That's right. Yeah. Get it figured out in London. So in terms of business, then I don't know. My answer is kind of boring. I think just keeping the expansion with DSP is really the focus for 2020. And I didn't start the year thinking that, but that has become a bigger and bigger piece. And that ocean goes really, really deep. It's like the deeper we go, the more we learn. Oh, there's actually more. Oh, there's actually more around this corner. So that is my sense of it.
Excellent. And Brian, what about yourself?
Yeah, definitely kind of echoing some of the other comments here is definitely having a full team that can not only manage all the different, ads and targeting and options and everything new, but also having an active research and development type of program to constantly be looking forward. Ultimately, I think this year, one of the common conversations that we have with clients and partners is supply chain. And I think that's going to have the biggest impact in the near future. But I think certainly to echo what everybody else is saying is that just growing on the Amazon advertising side of the house, It's really developing out quality teams and processes for constantly looking forward, not simply just being reactive to what's in front of us.
Yep, that makes sense.
If I can jump in, Brian, I wanted to mention something. Back in 2015, the first webinar I ever saw about PPC was with you. It was Jungle Scout.
Oh, God.
If I remember correctly.
You know what's funny is that is the absolute worst interview I've ever given, and that's the one I hear about the most. So that's awesome.
Always nice to show up your best side. Yeah. Lazar.
Yeah, on a personal side, I would add part when I'm getting married, hopefully, yes. And we'll see if it's going to happen because of
I'll be there, 29th of August. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we're going to get drunk. And on the other side, on the business side, I hope that the team is going to grow even further and the business is going to grow further and the quality of work is going to keep the same. And we're working really hard on that. And we're developing a lot of new stuff, new features. So it's going to be awesome.
Excellent. Well, look, this has been great to have you guys on. I'm going to roll in the next week. But before I do, I want to say individual goodbyes. So starting with you, Destiny, just want to say I rate you highly. This is why I'm bringing you to London for Seller Sessions Live. There's not many people where you can really get that warm account manager plus the data side. Like you walk in a room, you light up the room. I think you've got the ultimate package in terms of working both sides on the technical and client facing, and you've got your own business. But I've always said to Ellis, he's like, we need a Destiny, you know, like when you're looking to employ someone, and I think he backs me up as well, not you because you work with one of my good friends as well, but if we can find the Destiny, and I'm sure Brian would agree, is having both of those attributes is so important, because you can be too technical with not enough customer facing, or vice versa. And I think
there's a balance.
There's a balance, and I believe that, like, if you looked it up in the dictionary, you would be looking back as the perfect balance. So congratulations and thank you for everything that you do, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Danny.
Take care. Ellis, you're a madman getting me to do PPC. I would have never touched it, even though I started PPC in 2008. And when you mentioned, oh, I'm going to be with this bit, I was like, oh, here we go. But then the fact is that you built something that for me is blue ocean now. And I think, you know, I wouldn't have gone into this world as a business if it wasn't for you. And I would think, and I think Brent would agree here as well, is a lot of people rate you highly. They love you as a person when they meet you, and you come across so well, you articulate well, and you're just great at what you do. So thank you for being my partner and for being a decent human being.
Thank you too, Danny.
All right, you take care, and I'll see you soon, Ellis.
Okay.
Bye. Lazar, we've only known each other a year. I'm very good friends with Yana as well. We've traveled around, we've built a bond together. Really proud of how you've built your agency. You've taken it from a small agency to what, 35 clients now, 15, 20 staff. You just bought in to a new building out in Serbia. So really proud in everything that you've achieved. And thank you for being you.
Thank you so much for inviting me and joining here. And hopefully we'll see each other on wedding and also on seller sessions.
Definitely. All right. Take care.
Awesome.
Bye.
Brent, you're one of the most understated people that I know. You're such a gentleman, very kind, very smart, very unassuming. And I've loved the way you've been growing your business. A lot of people rate you not only as a PPC expert, but as a decent, kind human being as well.
Thanks, Danny. Yeah. Congrats on 500. You know, starting a podcast is easy. 500 episodes is not. So huge.
Exactly. I don't know how we got here, but we're here now. So we'll see where it's going to take us. Let's see if we can get to 1,000. That'll probably be the next one.
Easily possible.
All right. You take care. See you soon. Bye. Brian. So basically
500.
Thank you. I think we've known each other since 2015. We got to know each other a bit better when we brought you out to China.
Yeah.
And we were over there, and it was lovely to hang out with you then. And then obviously over in Amsterdam as well.
Cool, yeah.
I'll be very clear that you weren't in the cafes, so we'll make that clear. But no, it's been great to, over the years, to be able to work with you in some capacity, being part of the groups. And I've always admired you for the way that you are very patient with people. It's like you've got your own PPC group and you answer all of those questions. And I admire that. So some people might say you're crazy doing a podcast now 5 days a week, or it used to be 7 days a week for that 77-day run. But ultimately, like, I admire you, the fact that you're doing these questions day in, day out since 2015-16 as well. So very impressed with what you do. And yeah, thank you for everything.
Appreciate that. And Danny, you are one to admire for the grind. I mean, you just keep at it. So
thank you.
I keep an eye on you for sure.
All right. You take care. Good luck with everything. And I look forward to having you back on soon. See you soon.
Sounds good. Talk soon.
Bye. Bye. Hello. Okay. So Amy is here. A girl is here. Megla is here. And Cassandra is here. Is that everyone? How are we doing?
Hi.
Good. All right. So starting with you, Amy, give everyone just a little bit of background on yourself.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Amy Weiss. I'm the founder of AmazingAtHome.com, and I am a private label seller. I've been selling on Amazon since 2007, and I invented a product from scratch, and I love helping, you know, other sellers get started and develop products and source them, all the fun things A to Z.
Yep. Igel.
Yeah, I'm a 7-figure seller. I'm a seller. I don't really have a service, so I'm just digging the trenches and trying to survive as a woman, as a mother, as a big seller. So I'm really happy to contribute now to the women's topic of your show.
Excellent. Cass, how are you? It's been a while.
Hi, Danny. How are you? Good. Very excited to be here. I am Cassandra Craven, the social media manager for Helium 10 Software, specializing in influencer relations, analytics, strategy, all the good things, all the exciting things, and I'm happy to be here.
Superb. Megla.
Hi, Danny. First of all, congratulations on 500. That's quite an amazing feat. So, I'm Megla Bharadwaj in Singapore. I specialize in sourcing products from China and India. I run a sourcing trip to India sourcing trip that is, of course, on hold currently. And I also organize a virtual show where I bring suppliers from India in live webinars.
Yes. Also, with you guys, as well as being established and great and fantastic at what you do, you are also part of Branded by Women as well. So I thought I wanted to get your feedback on the question. We all worked on this together. I'm very happy with the outcome so far. I'm hoping this is going to grow and be more beneficial for women within the industry, encouraging more people to come in. So my question to you, and from your perspective, what would you do to encourage more women into the Amazon world, and how would you go about implementing it? And starting with Amy.
Well, I think, something that a lot of women struggle with is fear. Yes. Entrepreneurs as a whole struggle with fear, but women, sometimes we don't give ourselves permission to follow our own dreams because we're traditionally caretakers, and we don't always, as I said, give ourselves permission to follow our own dreams and to really go after something, and sometimes we don't think we can do it. And so the biggest thing is just overcoming that fear. So I think how we have to implement it is, number one, we have to give women permission, and we have to give them support, and we have to help them on that journey from, to be able to build up their confidence, and so that they can feel confident in going after something. And sometimes that just starts with starting small.
Indeed. Yeah, what is your take? What would you suggest here?
My take is, I think, a little bit more rational. I don't know, not rational, extreme. I would just tell the women to man up a little bit. We are creating every third company, and we are only bringing in 4% of revenues. And this really sucks. Like, come on, women, we can do so much better. And why I think we can do so much better is, like, if you look in the corporate era, we are extremely valued participants in like middle-level management workforce. So we have proven ourselves. Like, I don't think we should talk about like why we cannot do it. Yes, we have kids, and yes, we are more afraid. But what do I do to change that is that I have started to document my own journey in Instagram and Facebook now for more. And I just want to show the life of having 3 kids and running crazy and having a crazy life and still, doing it, because we have so much potential. We need to break loose from the corporate machine because we are one of the best ones over there. We we just kill it, and we just need to do it in our own terms. So please consider, if you already have proven that you are wired in entrepreneurial way, then just seek out other entrepreneurial women and just go and do it. There is nothing that needs to hold you back. I think the focus needs to shift. We can do it. It's not like, just don't focus on the kids and taking care. I know this is a big issue. I talk about it a lot, but where the focus goes, the energy flows. That's what is a very known quote. So we need to follow that.
Makes sense. Megla, coming to you. Same question.
Yes. So I think, what Amy said is really true. One of the things that women really struggle with is confidence. And we also, I think, what I'm doing is I have a podcast, and I'm trying to bring on more women, especially from Asia, and asking them to share their story and how they started their e-commerce journey, and hopefully that would inspire other women in Asia and around the world to start their own businesses. Because I think as women, if we see other women being successful and overcoming certain challenges that we're also facing, that gives us more confidence. And the other thing that I'm doing is I'm just trying to help as many women as possible, along the way in my business. For example, I needed somebody to do my graphics and social media. So instead of looking for a VA on Fiverr, I looked around, in my community over here and found a really good friend of mine who was actually a housewife, but she has a couple of hours every day. So even though she has no social media experience at all, I'm trying to train her, and it's given her a little bit of confidence because now she's earning a little bit herself. And then the other things that I'm doing is there's a factory in India, for example, that's run by a woman, and there are not many factories in India run by women. So I'm trying to promote her and source products from her myself, and also just get her a little bit out there. And then I also have sponsorships for my trip. So for the last trip, I actually gave one person like the trip almost for free. She was a single woman. She was struggling a little bit, so she got to come on the trip. One of the things that I'm starting to think about is how to create a mentorship program for some of the women. And, that's something that I think will really help, starters, beginners who are just thinking about going, selling on Amazon or going into e-commerce. I think that's something that I would really like to do. I don't know how and when, but I think that would help people.
Makes sense. Very good. Cass, what about you?
Okay, so before coming into the e-commerce space, I worked in television, film, and I actually worked for a daytime court show with a female judge. And she was a wife, a mother, daytime host, talk show host, entrepreneur. She did it all. And something that she lived by, a quote was, "You can do it all, but you can't do it all at once." And I think as women, we're always trying to take it all on at one time, and packing our schedules and making sure we're doing it all right. And I thought that was something that really rang true with me and something I still remember to this day. It's about segmenting. It's about, it can look like a daunting task to get into Amazon. It can look like a daunting task to find out all the research and get your product going and get it out there. And really, it's a step-by-step process. There are so many tools, features, courses, resources, networks that are here to help you. And really don't feel overwhelmed that you have to do it all at once. It is a process. It is a step-by-step. Rome wasn't built in a day. And I think it's all about not taking on too much and really embracing all these networks, all these women, entrepreneurs, looking at other women, looking at their social media channels and how you can emulate it and learn from them. So that would be my biggest piece of advice, is look for something that's right for you. Look for a course that's right for you. Dive into your research and take it step by step. Don't become overwhelmed. Don't get frustrated and kind of, toss it out, if you will. Because I think I know for me, that's one of my biggest things. I'm like, oh God, there's so much going on. I can't. But you really just have to take it piece by piece, step by step. You can do it all, but you can't do it all at once. There you go.
Great. Same question to you, Yao, as well. And congratulations on joining. I know you came in on time and the other ladies were early. So I just want to say welcome to the show first.
Thank you. So for me, it's a question that's very close to my heart, because most of the lawyers in my firm are women. I employ a lot of women. And I noticed in my firm, we noticed that the percentage of Amazon sellers, women Amazon sellers, is quite low. So I started looking at the numbers, and I found out that it's around 25%. Then I saw that Jungle Scout actually published that it's around 26%. And I was thinking last year how to improve this number. And so what I did is several things. First, I started asking questions. Why women do women don't start, or do women stop? So what I found out first is that there are more women starting, so we should be around like 40%, but many of them drop along the way. And the reason they drop, when you ask the question, you find out that they say something like, I'm afraid to take risk. I'm afraid to lose my family's money. I'm afraid to launch new products, so I'll just stay with that product. So very often they stay, but they don't make it their main daily job. So I thought that the best way maybe to push women is to show them success, just like some of you said. So last year we organized a meeting here in Israel for women. It was the Amazon women. And I think we published it within like 2-3 days. There were 150 women in a bar, and they were listening to amazing sellers that said their story and explain how they got there. They told about their problems, not only the success and what they had to go through. We talked a lot about the risk on Amazon, if it's worth it. And I felt, many women came to me after that show, that little conference in the bar, and told me that it gave them some confidence. And then there's the branded by women that I think makes a lot of difference. And at the end, I think that it's a lot about communities and communicating. Again, when you ask, you see that many women tell you they're afraid to ask questions on like big FBA groups on Facebook. And when you look, you see a lot of men there and less women. So I started to look if we do a little Facebook group with women, maybe they'll feel more comfortable asking questions and helping each other. And it actually works. So I'm still, trying to find the right way. But I think the best way is to ask the question and get into the detail, what stops them, and then doing some more of the IP, the branded by women show, and other similar shows.
Excellent. I just want to pick up on the point with the branded by women thing, which is quite interesting because people ask me about it. Like Megla was quite vocal, is that we shouldn't be doing a women-only event, and I agree with her. The reason we did it is to create a spotlight in the fact that if you can't find women speakers, then you only have to look to that event with 36 of them. There's no shortage there. Now, there's two sides to this, and Megla's covered this as well, is that, and she knows this from her own events, the guys will ask first. So they'll go, can you give me a slot? Can you give me a slot? And then when the women step up to the plate, the slots are gone, so there's less there. Now, from a guy's perspective, I would have never been able to put Branded by Women together unless I'd been out on the road and met near enough all of those people. Because prior to doing Branded by Women and wanting to get more women on the podcast, I've reached out cold to people. 9 times out of 10, they ignore you because you're just a bloke contacting them. When you meet people in person, it's a different story. Like when I asked, I think only 1 or 2 people that couldn't do it to commitments, but everyone signed up, were on board. If I didn't have that relationship, that wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have had 36. So what do we do about that to improve it for next time round? Let's take that to Igel. What would you say there?
Yeah, you're putting me to a the difficult position right now. You mean like how to get more women to speak early up to participate in conferences?
Yes. So my thing is, where do we make the change? So for instance, we done Branded by Women, which Megla said shouldn't have existed because it shouldn't be a topic, but we put a platform in place so that hopefully in the future that would change and there'll be an increase of women speaking at events, right? So that's the job. That's the target job. But equally on that side, if women don't make contact, then how do we get them? Or if someone reaches out cold for you to speak, how do we deal with that? And I understand there's the different dynamics between men and women, but where can we draw these lines together to maximize it and improve it?
This is exactly what you're doing right now. The Branded by Women was the first event of hopefully tens and tens of ones to follow. I think together we are breaking a glass ceiling. And this doesn't blow up immediately. It just needs a crack and crack and crack. And eventually we will be able to be closer to 50-50 situation in the conference time. But what you're doing right now, I think it will get a couple of years until women are kind of seeing more women. That makes it more natural for women to be out there. But knowing also that women are more modest, they don't go out there, we don't fight so easily, we don't fight for ourselves. I think slightly it will always be this way, that if you want to have a woman speaker in your conference, you kind of need to put more work on it to get her to speak in the conference, because we don't go out there like wolves, we kind of do it in a gentler way, but it also means that we're left behind a little bit, and we are okay with that, which I think we, as all these 5 wonderful women here, we can try to empower women not to let ourselves to be left behind. But this is gradual work, and this Branded by Women is just a wonderful start for that. And I actually do think that Branded by Women is important, because I've gotten 25 feedbacks from this event saying that, oh my God, it was just so good to hear, and I can relate so much, and I have also kids, and I'm struggling so much, but seeing you doing that just gives me extra motivation and energy to go and do that. So I think it is extremely important event to carry on. So
do you think in the eyes of the people that followed Branded by Women and signed up for it, that gives them the inspiration to go, we're having these open conversations, so we'll go out and ask that person at that event. As soon as it gets announced, I'll be the first one there knocking on the door saying, can I speak? Do you think that will happen through having these conversations? Megla's probably best to answer that as well, because you work on both sides, where you're pro supporting women, plus you do with the events over in Hong Kong as well.
Right. So first of all, I have to say that Branded by Women was an amazing event, and we definitely needed that kind of an event. But my vision is that we shouldn't need such events, because I would really want women to be part of the mainstream conferences and not kind of sidelined into a separate conference. I think that's what we need to really work toward. And I think it's down to conference organizers, podcasters, and webinar hosts. I mean, they just need to take a little bit more, time and effort to look for these for women experts, and they are out there. So I think what we need to do is just, and even for women, we need to go out there and put ourselves out there. Why don't we do it? I mean, Amy is a great example. She's such a confident, and she reaches out to people and says, "Hey, I want to come
like 500 pounds and stuff as well."
Exactly.
I could never lift the weight.
I know. How do you do that, Amy? Wow.
She's like a ball of fire. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, Cass, bringing you in, what's your take on it?
Well, Danny, I think if you remember, I approached you about being on Branded by Women. So
that's true. Yeah.
I really did. And, it's no secret. Tech is a male-dominated field, and even Helium-10 was very male-dominated until recently. I mean, I'm the first woman to ever speak on a large-scale platform and represent the company, which is something I'm so, so proud of, so honored. And it's taught me to think like a man, though, because I was like, I'm getting Danny McMillan on the phone, and I'm going to talk to him. And I said, keep me in mind. I want to talk to you. And you really just have to have that mentality. I think that's something I think women should take away from it, is look to our male counterparts. What are they doing? And how can we do it, and probably better? Not going to lie. So I got on the phone with you. Danny didn't call me. I called him. And I will say that, you remember Anthony Lee, too, when he worked at Helium-10. He was a driving force behind it. There was a part of me that was like, oh, no, I'm not going to do this. Like, too much time. It's stressful, all this stuff. And he's like, no, you're going to do it. And, having that support system from men and women alike, and getting on the phone and just being out there and being brazen. And what's the harm? I mean, look at me now, Danny. I'm talking to you, all these fine people. Here we go. So just be confident, be strong, go for it.
Same question to you, Amy. Like Megla says, I think you're very much that way inclined. You've got an army background, so you're probably drowned in this testosterone and everything else. To fight for air. So
a big part of my confidence did come from spending 18 years in the U.S. military, where it's male dominated, and I was in an IT career before I quit my job to do full-time e-commerce. So I'm definitely not afraid of talking to a man, that's for sure. But something that built my confidence when I didn't plan to start Amazing at Home. Like, I didn't plan to start a service-based business. I planned to do my brands and my brands only. Like, that was my whole thing, right? What happened was I started sharing my journey. Just like Gail was saying, she's sharing her journey. She's documenting those things to hopefully inspire others. I started sharing my journey, and people started reaching out to me and saying, hey, that video that you made, which was a video that I thought was like crap, you know, like that's so embarrassing, but I'm just going to share it, whatever, you know, maybe it'll help someone. And so many people reached out to me and said, that really helped me. That gave me confidence. I did that thing that you said that you tried with your listing, and that worked for me. Now my products are selling, you know, all of those things. So I think part of it, I have to put the challenge out to all of us women. I hosted my very first conference on my 40th birthday. I hosted my very first Inspire conference. And what I did is I reached out to some of those women and men that had inspired me, and I asked them to speak. And I think that in some of them, it was their first time ever speaking in a public forum. And I think the same thing happened with me, is people started reaching out to me and saying, hey, would you come speak? Would you come be on my podcast? Would you come do this or that? And I was like, you want me to do what? Like, I don't do that. That's not a thing. Well, guess what? It's a thing now. I mean, I have a very awesome company that helps a lot of people with Amazing at Home. But the thing is, somebody had to come to me first and be like, you know what? You put a lot of great stuff out there. Come and speak. And so I think if you put the challenge out to every single one of us who was at Branded by Women, to reach out to those people that we see potential in, that we see that they could become the next us, right? We need to do that. Every single one of us needs to be challenged to reach out to someone and, first of all, remind them that they did something to inspire you. And second of all, ask them if they'd ever thought about being, you know, speaking or asking about speaking, and then give them tips to do that. Like, hey, if you'd be interested in speaking, let's do a podcast. Or if you'd be interested, reach out to Danny McMillan. He's got this Branded by Women thing, right? So I think referrals are a huge thing, and we got to build each other up, and that makes all the difference. And I think that's how a lot of us got started, was by being built up by other people.
So effectively, by seeing more and more, like someone watches this show here, people know that I have women on the show anyway, regardless, but maybe they look at this and go, right, there's 5 women on there, I can do that. So part of that is what you think it becomes, when that becomes like the new normal, then we'll see an on-flow of people doing the same thing, yeah? Because it becomes more, the reality's there, yeah?
Yes, exactly. And, you know, the Branded by Women, maybe you don't need that in 3 or 4 years, you know, and then we're going to be all over the regular conferences.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's bring you in here as well and get your thoughts on the same subject.
Yeah, I actually, by the way, was also in the army, in the Israeli army. So I was surrounded by men, and then later in law firms, most of the partners were men. And so, and when I started speaking at, you know, Amazon conferences, I also felt very much alone. I mean, back then there were very few women on stage, maybe 1 or 2. In most of them, I was alone. And if you look at the crowd, 90% of the people there were men. And I think it's actually changing. I think it's improving slowly, but it's improving. I see more women on stages. When I did that meetup that I was referring to, it was very difficult for me to find women that would tell their story. I thought I would ask 1 or 2, and they would also, you know, they're all my clients for you, and they say, no, I don't want, you know, I'm okay where I am. I don't want to talk about it. And then they don't see women on stages, so they won't talk. So it's like a vicious circle. We need to break it, and that's exactly what you're doing. And I see now other podcasters starting doing it, having those women so that we'll hear them, so that the organizers of conferences will see them and will know them, and we'll hear their content, and then we'll open up and hopefully change those numbers.
Yeah. So are we in agreement that everyone needs to step up their game, meaning that you need to ask and ask earlier as well, and organisers need to make a better effort of looking to bring in a new breed of men and women. And like for me, it's a big focus. And I've always said this and I stand by it. I'm not going to get a checklist and go, all right, how many men have I got? How many women? I want fucking rock stars. If you happen to be a woman rock star, you got the job. That's the way I see it. And I think that's the fair way to judge it as well. Obviously, there's a disbalance there. But I have people speaking, it's very technical, and that's not always going to be suitable for a massive group of women. But I think 30% of the speakers at Seller Sessions Live are women. If we done more of a mixed event, maybe, if we were doing, suspensions, legal, if we're doing branding and stuff, there'll be more of a 50-50. It's going back to what Cassandra's saying, is that like Helium 10, places like that are going to be more med-led or tech-led. But so you're the voice of reason there. But I definitely think more can be done, especially on men's side. But I think if women were able to speak up a bit more in terms of, like we said, be it the confidence thing, and like Megla says, get in there early, because the men they're like ferrets up a drain pipe, right? They want to get their speaking gigs. Like, right, okay, I want to, as soon as it's announced, they're on it. You've got to do the same. Or as the spots start to disappear, and then there isn't space to give, because you can't then say, oh, I'm going to take you off now because I've already confirmed you. So definitely think is my learnings from Branded by Women is the confidence, move with speed. I think if we see more of that. And the final thing is negotiate what you're worth. And that's a third thing I noticed with Branded by Women, is that people are scared to negotiate what you're worth. And I think that needs to be stepped up as well, because men can be very brazen with that and go and get the pay rises and stuff. And I definitely think women out there should know their worth. Always know your worth. Never sell yourself short. Right. As everyone, I'm going to get the next crew of people in, but I want to say all my personalized goodbyes first. So starting with you, Amy, not known you very long. We met properly in Hong Kong last year through Megla. I love your spirit. I love the way that you just like a machine. What are you now? You said your age earlier on, but you're like 40. You're still out there pushing weights, and you run multiple businesses. You're like,
I waited till I got out of the military to get in shape.
Yeah, but like you're like a machine. Like you're not stomped. And you know what? I love your enthusiasm as well. So thank you for everything you do, and thank you for coming on the show. And take care.
Thanks, Danny.
Bye. Oh, what do I say about you, Miguel? We met in Lithuania. You're originally from Estonia. Again, love your fighting spirit. I remember when we were working together on the Branded by Women thing, and you were doing your slides, and obviously there's the translation thing, and I got my copywriter to work with you on the slides just to make sure they were perfect, because you put so much effort into it. And it's the same with everything you do. And I know that, you're a single mum, you've got 3 kids, you've got properties, you've had 5 failed businesses, I think it was, and you just relentless. You just carried on going, and now you're a super successful 7-figure seller. So congratulations.
I am so grateful that you, Danny, make sure that you do not only meet men in conferences. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because you're making sure that there's going to be more of us there.
Yes. No worries. All right, sweetie. You take care. I'll see you soon. Yeah. Bye.
Yes.
Megla, I think we've known each other since 2016. We've got similar stories in different way. I've lost 2 of my children. You lost your husband. We've gone back from the brink and come back again. And we show what perseverance is all about. And I love your spirit. Even through COVID and everything you're doing, you're still going strong and holding it down. So thank you for being you. And I look forward to getting you back on again soon.
Thank you so much, Danny. Take care. Bye.
You too. Okay, Cass, you're like a whirlwind. Like I love this energy that you got. Again, we've only known each other about 6 to 8 months, but I know you pushed a lot through for Branded by William at Helium 10. Being it's a very large company in the space, your support and the Helium 10 support was very helpful because of the reach it gets out there as well. Thank you for being you. You're unconventional. You love the big hair. You light up the room. You speak to a lot of people. You've got an aura about you that people love. All right. So thank you for coming, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.
Congratulations. Thank you. Mwah.
Bye. Take care. Yao. I think we met through Tamer, didn't he? He introduced us, and the stuff that you do on the show, or what you've come on to the scene later with me in terms of seller sessions, the daily lives, and I think you've done 4 or 5 slots, but the feedback you get and the questions you get answered, people love what you do, and you're very, very open and you articulate everything very clearly as well. So thank you for everything you do, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you. See you soon. Congrats, Danny. It's amazing.
Thank you. Take care, yeah. Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Okay, welcome to the feed. George, Gisela, hold on, nearly kicked you out. There we are. And Shane. How are we doing, guys?
Good.
Shane, you look very different with the cap and the glasses. I haven't seen that look before.
Well, I got a bad haircut this morning. That wasn't
is that what it is?
So I'm going to wear my cap.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Right, let's do some introductions, starting with you, George.
Cool. I'm George. I'm the founder of ClearAds. We've been going since 2011. I've been doing paid advertising since 2009, primarily focusing with Amazon advertising on sponsored ads and Amazon's demand side platform.
Excellent. Shane, a bit of background on you, please.
Yeah, so I've been selling since about 2013 on Amazon. Did a lot of training over the years, all kinds of stuff. Now my main focus is PR Reach, kind of a media company. We do all kinds of stuff, very holistic, a whole range of stuff, a lot to do with Amazon sellers, always looking for different angles there. Yeah, that's about it.
Yanela?
Hi, I'm Jelena. I'm the owner of Amazonia PPC. It's an agency based in Serbia dedicated to Amazon PPC campaign management. We've been 5 years in this industry.
Cool.
Excellent. Right. So let's go with the main question for you guys. I'm just going to pull it up here. And
just before you get started, just regarding haircuts.
Yes.
I did get a haircut this morning. Well, that's not a joke, and I wasn't happy with it.
Yeah.
But George and I had a call about 2 months ago, or a month and a half ago. And it was like we time warped to the 70s. I had crazy, I had wings sticking out. He had his big fro. I was like, oh my God, we got to get out and get some haircuts. This is crazy.
I know. Yeah. George, last time you come on, you had a bit of a fro going, didn't you? It was growing out a bit, but you managed to sneak out the back door for a trim.
Yeah, I did, exactly. And then I had people comment and say, oh, George, I saw you on Danny's podcast. Man, that afro. And I'm like, did you get anything else out of it? It's afro, man. That's okay.
Excellent. All right. So, okay, what is the biggest change to private label you expect to see in the next 5 years? Starting with, I'm just going to say Jay, because I always misspell your name. Janela.
Yeah.
Yanela or Janela?
Jelena.
Jelena. It's gonna be a mental block. So starting with you. Sorry.
No worries. Well, you shared this question with us 2 hours ago. So I gave it a little bit of thought. It's a food for thought because it's obviously such a wide question. So many things could affect, e-commerce trends in general. So I was thinking from the point of view in general, private label as a model, as a business model, and also thinking about private label as a, process for product research, for sourcing, development, all these things, and getting it out to the marketplace. And also private label from the standpoint of customer behavior that's changed massively in the last couple of months. And also overall the experience of purchasing online. That's also really won in the last couple of months over retail. So a lot of different ways how you can look at it. So I'm not really sure if you want the long introduction.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, the first thing that I thought about is cross-channel targeting. That's one of the things we saw on Amazon that rolled out last year. First signs of this level of sophistication through Amazon attribution, where you can actually understand better how your external traffic is contributing to your private label success on Amazon. I think that they will heavily capitalize on this in the upcoming next years, especially because they have a huge partnership network of websites that they own, and big part of display ads being shown there at this very moment. So I think it's only a matter of time when they will fully integrate and provide us with insights how it's all working out together, combined with other monopolized channels like Google and Facebook in the first place, and then everything else that follows second. So that's the first thing I think is going to happen. Also, yeah, one of the things that we neglect on Amazon being a search engine is that a lot of customers are searching. When they're doing their search on Amazon, they're doing it through devices, through voice devices. So capitalizing on voice is also going to be one of the major trends for the next couple of years. It's just one of these things, how it's changed customers searching for products and finding them online. It's one of the ways how it's gonna it's one of the ways how it's going to change in the future as well. Like we simply just went over to smartphones, and the overall experience is now a lot more mobile than what it used to be just 10 years ago. Voice is going to be super important. So one of the things that are going to be a consequence, good or bad, I don't know, consequence of this change is personalized experience. So probably it's only a matter of time when Amazon will offer Prime members, subscriptions, subscribe and say they will know when you run out of your supplements that you buy on a monthly basis, so that they can be more aggressive with advertising or use some kind of algorithm to figure out what is the next thing that you need with high predictability and accuracy. There is a certain level of industry espionage happening at the moment. I mean, it's been happening ever since, Google became massive. But I'm pretty sure that all these other devices are, like Alexa, for example, have this ability of doing some kind of espionage, whether they were willing to admit it or not. So they have all this huge pool of information they can use to provide a very personalized, highly personalized experience. Like, I don't know where I read this a long time ago, but there's this saying, I'm not sure if it's correct, but I believe it is, that Facebook, after 60 likes that you do, whatever you like on Facebook, or provide the reaction, now they have a wide array of reactions that you can offer.
As a signal, yeah?
As a signal, yeah. After 60 different reactions, they know you better than your own family, basically.
It's scary.
With high predictability. It's scary, but it makes sense, right? It's true, and they can also know all these other things. What's a fake profile? What's a real profile? What's a real person? How to connect the dots and put it in the service of advertising or whatever other thing they want to do that with. So
and the scary thing is almost like reverse manipulation, because all of these traits, all of these things that we're doing, all of these behaviors, they're training us inside out effectively. We become more addicted to them, the dopamine hits. There's so many different things that go on that people don't see, which you'll find in years and years' time, all these behavioral changes were swayed by lots of smart people in offices. How can we make it more sticky? How can we make this a daily ritual for people? How can we get them more and more engaged? And in that time, as they draw you in, these are changing and shaping our behavior and the behavior of our children as well.
100%. If they have all the information it takes to know us, they have all the power to change the narrative. So, yeah, unfortunately, yeah. But I think that one of the ways how they're going to use this info is just intent-driven, personalized offers for Prime citizens.
Yeah, I can't remember the terminology for it, but what's scary, and you're starting to see this early doors now, where someone can take a video recording of you, but then change it all, and then you say something completely different. It's got your tonality, your mouth. I can't remember the words, what it's called, but that's scary as well, because you
deep fakes.
Yeah, the deep fakes, that is scary. With that only just round the corner, if that becomes mass market, anything you say, Shane, George, you could say something and it's not you. And this machine has built it. And what proof have you got? You go, well, there's a video recording. That can start to become very, very scary as we get down the line. So without scaring any more people, have you got any more you would like to add to that question before I hand over?
Yeah, sure. Just to mention quickly the deepfakes, they're like on that certain level of development right now where you can easily figure out it's a fake. but it's only a matter of time when they're going to probably make it so real that video as any kind of proof will lose credibility then. So it's not going to be one of the ways how you build credibility either as a brand or as a person. Just like the 4 P's of products, which is price and promotion and what was the other 2? I don't know, but someone mentioned that they're going to change from P's to E's, like engagement and emotion and excitement and experience, just overall experience. So I think that this is also one of the directions in which Amazon wants to take the brands that are selling on Amazon. They're providing us, all these branding elements like A+ content and video, and they're giving us related videos to the products. They're giving us a lot of space to provide a branded experience to customers online. So what I think is also going to be super important, whether you're selling through private label or you're selling through e-commerce, your own e-commerce website, basically this whole private label business model is going to depend really highly on how you engage with your customers on a very genuine personal level. 100%. That's like already true, but I think it's going to become more relevant than ever because customers as such have become super spoiled and very savvy. They know what their expectations can be from the brand, and they also have this level of sophistication to recognize who's genuine and who's just sending them, can you please leave us a review cards, what I mean. So there's going to be a difference in that trend as well. And like I mentioned, that's one side how you can look at it as a private label, as building a brand, as developing your products and putting them on the marketplace. On the other hand, as a process, like in general, as a business model, I think that there's going to be more and more automation, regardless. Like right now we have some tools that you can use, for example, for PPC. That's the area I know best. And a lot of them just don't cover this part of sponsor brands ads, video ads. There's still a lot of manual creative work that you have to put in order to drive quality and deliver high quality content to your customers. So I think that there's going to be like a flood of hybrid tools that combine the two, where you can just like generate a product video within a matter of a couple of minutes and upload it to Amazon. So there's going to be a certain level of saturation of customers and the marketplace in general with all this kind of content done wrong, I think. So this could probably end up with Amazon reducing the amount of placements that they offer for ads, just in order to protect their user experience on site, to protect their own website, because at the end of the day, they are another website on Google that needs to rank. So they're either gonna do this through increased pricing of cost per click, or reduced amount of placements that they can offer, or just like increased requirements for either image quality, video quality, or level of production, or something like that. So I think that in general, we could expect higher fees, stricter rules for selling on Amazon, because a lot of sellers are new sellers that are first time, that a lot of them join and then give up. But all in all, it's contributing to this. I guess all this competition is just like contributing to overall environment where a customer is the king, regardless whether they are or aren't. They are. Yeah. So you're gonna have to cater to them in order to win their love in the end. So that is only being achieved through genuine engagement and high quality products. So I think that's the winning formula. But I don't know. We'll see. It's all like predictions that I was able to make. To sum it up, predictions I was able to make only based by some standard conditions. You know, obviously we haven't had those standard conditions this year, and we don't know how this whole situation is going to unravel to the end. So it's something that we'll still see how it's going to play out, at least in the next 2 years maximum. We're going to have this overall trend of people staying at homes and looking for ways to entertain themselves, exercise, stay healthy, all these things, social distancing. It's become like a habit, a changed habit. So this is here to stay probably for the next couple of years, and then have everything turn back to normal, hopefully.
Yeah.
We can see, we can also, as one of the main predictions and changes in private label, probably could take into account the change in customer behavior as one of the main directions in which sellers should think about when they're doing their product research. They should think outside the box. How can we cater the needs of people that are feeling locked, isolated? You know, a lot of people in lockdown had really a lot of have suffered a lot from mental issues, because when you're closed and you can't do much, it really can affect your health. So coming up with products that really solve these uprising issues could be also very, very lucrative, especially if you focus on crowdfunding platforms, you know, where people see that you found a solution to their product that they feel understood. Obviously, it's like it's going to be something that they will support. So I hope that some of these insights were interesting. What do you
Very
think?
much so. There is a lot there to obviously take in, but as always with you, you're very thoughtful. You always detail stuff down. So Shane.
Boy, you're in for a treat now, because you know, like I found out 5 minutes before the topic, and you know, if I was 50 years younger, I think that maybe I would suspect that Yelena and I were maybe separated at birth, because I really tune into what you're saying, and I completely agree. There's a few things in there I think maybe I would just want to expand on, because you talked about a lot, and I don't know, it's hard to make predictions, but so I was a guy back in 2016 that I thought that Jack Ma and Alibaba was going to come and put a run on for the money for Amazon. Never panned out for whatever reason. So then we saw, you know, Walmart make some inroads, they're still small, but Shopify. But we see what's happening now. Walmart continues to gain. Shopify, Walmart alliance. We're seeing you know, other players start to rise up a little bit stronger, start to challenge Amazon's dominance a little bit more. And, you know, I was so disgusted with Amazon. You know, okay, so here, everyone's got a love-hate relationship with Amazon. It's such a multi-headed beast. It can't really be any other way. You're going to make some people mad. You're going to do one. It's a wonderful thing, but it's also, you know,
frustrating.
Frustrating is a very good term. And I saw the way they treated some sellers during this, you know, the initial COVID, you know, reaction, and destroying lives. You know, people who've got, you know, they're doing 8 figures a month. They got, you know, 136 employees, and just shut off for absolutely no reason, destroying lives and not caring, not giving two hoots. I've seen it before, but I saw it so much during that, and I thought, you know what, you guys are just playing with fire. Because me as a seller, am I going to stay on Amazon? Well, sure I am. Yeah, I want to make money. I want to offer my products, blah, 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 blah. But you can be damn sure I'm going to be looking for other people, and those other people are going to be shopping to pull me onto their platform. I don't want to be treated like garbage all the time. And that's what I saw too much from Amazon over the holidays, or during the I call it the holidays, but you know, COVID.
The holidays.
Yeah. But I just got really, really annoyed, and you start to see, of course, the more chatter on social media, you start hearing about these issues coming up. There's plenty of groups devoted just to that. We don't need to get into. There's always going to be people who bitch and complain, and there's always legitimate, you know, complaints too. But I just really think that that's where people need to focus on. You know, when you talk to newer sellers now, or especially in the past, it's like, no, build up your Amazon, get that dialed in, then make the transition. Don't try and, you know, spread your eggs too quickly, because you go over to Shopify, now you're responsible for your own traffic. That's a totally different game. Branding is so important. Dialing in your customer avatar, using all different types of content, personalizing your service, focusing on niches, I think is going to be super, super important. Getting off of the Amazon platform, even if you're only doing 25% of your revenue off Amazon, you can.
That's a lot. That is a lot. If only. If you can get if you can get a 25%, a lot of companies that are buying it, that adds value to the bottom line of purchasing an Amazon business with 25% or above if it's off platform. Below that, not so much. So 25% is a lot in that context if you started on Amazon,
Yeah, and obviously some products are going to lend themselves better to that than others. If you're selling supplements or types of things, you can often, you can obviously talk about things a little bit differently on your own site than you can on Amazon. You can build funnels, you can do all those types of things, building your email list. All these things are super, super important. Chatbot development. I just think that you need to do that. I don't know what's going to happen. We see. One of the things that really,
go on, pisses you off. Yeah.
Oh, can I swear? Okay.
Yeah. Were you on?
You swear all the time, so I guess I should take my cue from you.
I've got a potty mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people I see online are saying, "Oh, everyone, suck it up and just deal with it. Suck it up." I don't want to get political here, and I'm not going to. Those are mostly people who are making money online. We're not hearing a lot for some bloody reason. We're not hearing about the barber, the guy who works in a retail store, the baker, they've lost everything. They're going to continue to lose everything. What the hell are they going to do? Rely on a government check every week? It's disgusting how retail and how small people have been crushed from this. And we've only seen the bigger guys profit and gain from it. I don't like it. I like diversity. I like choice. I like competition that's healthy. I can't stand monopolies or oligopolies. And it really, really grinds my gears. And I don't want to bitch about the past. Hey, it is what it is. Okay, hopefully going forward we can solve that.
So that's all the positive stuff. What is the negative things? No, I'm joking. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Shane.
Yeah, and I didn't want this to be a soapbox. That's not my intention. And Yelena, she said something. Hey, maybe for the next couple of years we have to deal with social distancing things and all these these new terms, and then hopefully get back to normal. And I pray that's the case, and maybe earlier. Wonderful. Things will change, but is there a bigger play at hand? Are the big players going to continue to try and crush and push out the small guys? I don't know. I mean, does it sound like conspiracy? I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just happen naturally. I don't know. But you have to be on guard and you have to be aware. And I think by building your own brand and not being vulnerable to Amazon is super, super important. And one last thing before I hand it off to George, because I don't want to spend too long, is everyone's talking about at the beginning this product pivot. Sure, you can run out and start selling masks or gel or hand sanitizer. Sure. I guess you can do that. And some early adopters got in; they're doing very well. I'm not a trend chaser. And will it be part of our normal lives for the next 10 years? Maybe I'm dumb and I'm not going to get on it. But there is a product pivot there. I know people who had travel brands, they haven't sold a unit in 5 months. It just destroyed them. They had to start over again, and it's horrible. Nothing you can do. But when we talk about products and trying to, and again, Yelena talked on this, trying to discover those products which are going to be in demand for those people who are suffering, they're stuck at home, they can't exercise, your health, all these types of things, homeschooling, you name it. There's a lot of stuff that goes under that umbrella. I really think that there's also going to be a counterculture, because we talked about deep fakes. Okay, here we are. Deepfakes, in a few years, they could be very difficult. Well, there's also going to be a counter to that. There's going to be software companies that specialize in rooting those out. You might want to invest in them. There's going to always be that counterculture coming on. And right now, and I can't stand it. I hate it. I hate that we can't have a middle ground conversation with people on any topics anymore. Everything is polarized. You're either this, and if you're not this, then you're that. It's ridiculous. It's outlandish, and it's absurd. But that's the way society is, and it's just general ignorance. And I think lack of education for a lot of young people. But I don't want to go too far there. All I'm trying to say is there's always going to be a counterculture. So if something is mandatory or something is being pushed, there's always going to be a group pushing against it. And you can play both sides of the fence if you want to. You know, you can sell to, you know, the pro-Trump side, you can sell to the left side. You know, you don't, there's always going to be opportunities is what I'm trying to say. And I guess that's my glimmer of hope here. And I'm not saying doom and gloom. I mean, we all know that online sales, the industry is just going to continue going up. That's fantastic. I don't want to do it at the expense of crushing mom and pops everywhere. Like I'm abundance mentality. I think these divisions we see in society and polarizations, they might continue to get worse, but eventually the pendulum always swings the other way and things will come together. Will it take 6 months or 6 years? I don't know, but just, you know, ride out that storm, get off Amazon, understand there's always going to be product opportunities. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself into what the crowd is doing. I know that was really scattered and I'm sorry, but I guess there's a lot of thoughts I wanted to encapsulate into one.
Not at all. George, you got a lot to follow, my friend. What's it going to be?
I know, gosh, pressure. Yeah, just a few things. I think one of the big things is the importance of standing out. That's going to be integral in the next 5 years because it's getting more crowded. You know, if we have 30 people selling the same item in the next few years, it's probably going to be about 60 or 70 people selling the same item. And it's not going to be 2 or 3 page ones. It's always 1 page one, and that's where the sales are going to happen. So it's going to be crowded. It's going to be harder to rank up at the top. Sponsored ads is going to continue to play more of an integral role because that's in essence where Amazon is making a bulk of their money. So it's going to be very difficult to just push products without doing any pay-per-click. And obviously I'm saying that with a bit of bias in me, but like it's just going to be so important. So that's one thing. And one of the things we noticed today is we're looking at one of our clients, and Amazon have just, you know, across a lot of their products now are suggesting other products that are cheaper than theirs. So we're sending paid traffic to that product and it's saying, hey, check out these 3 items. They're all cheaper and have better reviews. And it's just, oh my gosh. Like, so you're going to have to really stand out. You're going to really have to have something that's incredibly unique. I think in 5 years, that's going to be so much more important. Gone are the days where you can just kind of start selling a spatula and you're good. Like, so that's one big thing that I've seen. What I think is going to happen in the next few years. Another point as well is the sophistication of software that's coming out now. The ability to look at such amazing information that will help you determine what products to sell. I know Helium 10 are really leading the way with this. I think in the next 5 years, that's going to continue to get better. Not only externally, but also internally within Amazon. I think they're going to provide far more reporting features for us to be able to make better and wiser decisions. I think one of the big issues I always see is when people look at a campaign and they cut off certain campaigns because they haven't seen many conversions, and they could be the conversions that, you know, they could be the traffic that's actually bringing in that middle to top level traffic that would have generated that sale through that branded keyword. You know, with Google, I've said this before, they have a linear attribution model. So, you know, they factor in that whole journey for that consumer, whereas Amazon doesn't have that yet. And I'd love to see that in there. And if that happens, it's going to give you a much better and bigger picture of the information available to you. I think the importance of external traffic as well is going to be is going to play more of an important role. You know, just I heard kind of Brian Johnson speak about this a few weeks ago, but you know, Google stopped a lot of their advertising on Google Ads for products during COVID because of the amount of traffic that they were getting like organically. So I think Google are going to. I think Google are going to stop showing more traffic like paid ads externally, and they want us to do it more. And I think, Yelena, you pointed out earlier that the attribution beta that's come out, you know, attribution, they're trying to equip us and give us the tools to be able to track the sales that come from other types of advertising, because it's a push for us to start finding other ways of bringing that traffic onto the listings. And there's a lot of sellers that I know that do this really well. The one thing I would love to would recommend to anyone in Europe, especially if you're if you're selling in Europe and you're not in the US, like the US, like speak to people who are selling in the US, because I always feel like the US is a few years ahead of Europe. The level of competition is higher. There's more sales going on. They are just way more proactive in what they do. And I think it's seen less in the UK, especially. And I think that's why if you take in what they do, it's like a time machine. So that's a little flavor of what's to come in the future. Like I'm heavy on the demand side platform, as everyone already knows. I think the importance of programmatic advertising is gonna become much more much kind of bigger in terms of how it impacts sales that come through for products as well. Yeah, so I guess I could talk forever on that topic, but I won't go in there. I won't go down that route. But they're the main things that I can kind of see happening in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, guys. Obviously, we'll bring this to an end of an era. 500 episodes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so thank you.
A pleasure to be on the 501 episodes. That's amazing.
Well, this will be 501 because we spread it across 2 days, because I just wanted to bring on as many people as possible. In total, I think we add it all up. I think there's been 30 guests in just under 2.5 hours, bringing in all those subjects together. And when you think you've got all of these very busy business owners, entrepreneurs, service providers and stuff. So I wouldn't say it's a huge thing to put together, but a lot of stuff could have gone wrong. And thus far, touch wood, an hour and 35 minutes in today, nothing has gone wrong today. But I want to do a personal thank you to you guys before I sign off. Shane, again, known you probably less than a year. I knew about you through other people, but we kind of consolidated our friendship on the road. We spoke at various different places together. You don't drink alcohol. I got you pissed, and that was the end of that. But what I love about you is that your sense of humor and working the stage. I think your stage presence is brilliant as well, and you always have me in stitches. And thank you for being a decent person. George, I think I met you at PPC Congress last August. Was that right? Yeah, and I love your hustle. You're from the UK. A lot of the PPC agencies you hear about, they're from like the US, but I know you've taken yourself on a plane and you've paid for sponsorship and you've got out there and you've made sure you're in every one of the right rooms and you've kind of built relationships with people. But one of the best things to do when you're building relationships as well is being a decent person. And I think when people meet you, they warm to you as well. So congratulations with everything that you're doing. I know you're trying to lead the line with DSP, definitely leading the line here in the UK. And yeah, very proud of what you're doing.
Thanks, man.
And then you, young lady, I think we met last year. I was watching some of your videos and I'm thinking, you just know your shit when it comes to PPC. And I know you're a bit shy and stuff, but yeah, really good at what you do. Really proud of what you've achieved. I know it's tough where you're based, you know, trying to get out there, integrate with people, go to conferences. We've had private conversations where I won't go into, but, you know, it's not always easy for you to get out and network and stuff. So, yeah, thank you for everything that you do. And I look forward to seeing you over at Seller Sessions Live. So I think that's it. 2.5 hours, 30 guests, 500 shows. I think I should retire today, go out on high, yeah? No more Seller Sessions. What do you reckon?
No, absolutely not.
Cool. All right, let's see if we can get to 1,000. But no, seriously, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Thank you to everyone who's listened and support. We'll keep on going. Tomorrow, I'm hopefully bringing in someone from Payoneer. So this whole thing that's kicking off. So I've got someone I'm going to be interviewing, one of the higher ups there, to see what's happening for the benefit of Amazon sellers and the impact it's having on them, and then when they'll be able to recover their money, etc. So that'll be 4 p.m. BST tomorrow. Stay home, stay safe, look after your family. Much love, and thank you very much for your support. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.